my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Jocelyn and I make videos about college life, work life, pretty much anything that I'm doing at the time. And today I'm here with a video that I've been meaning to film for a while, which is how I got into MIT. Now, for those of you who are watching this video, probably mean that you are applying to MIT or another college and are kind of like, hey, what looks good in an application? What should I add? And so basically, over the course of this video, I want to talk about what I put on my application as far as extracurricular activities, my grades, AP test scores, SAT scores, kind of like the whole thing, whole package of what MIT did see when they got my application in the mail. So, here we go.
So I guess like the best way to go about this would just be to I'm just going to scroll through my application piece by piece so that you can see literally everything that I submitted, because they give you a form when you're done to print out, and that gives you literally every single thing you submitted to them all in one place. And so I'm just going to scroll through that PDF and tell you what it says.
So basically, all of my grades in high school were all A's, somewhere in that range, ranging between my lowest one, I think, with a 91, and then all the way up to 100, except for one grade in biology, and in bio I did get an 89%. Now that was AP Bio, so I think that does make a big difference because it does show that I'm challenging myself. But yeah, I did still have one B. I think things to point out in my application is that I also did take a high school class when I was in middle school, so 8th grade I took geometry, honors geometry at the high school, so that was also on my transcript. As far as AP classes went, I took, I'm like reading my transcript as I go to make sure I don't miss anything. But for AP classes, I started taking AP then my sophomore year because that was as early as our school offered them, and I took AP Human Geography and AP Biology. Those ones I did get 5s on both the AP tests, and so that probably did help counteract the fact that I got an 89 in bio. And then my junior year, I took AP Calc, AP Chem, and AP Laying, and I did really well in all 3 of those classes. For the AP Calculus, it was the BC version. I took the AP test in Chemistry and Laying, got 5 in both of those, and I took the AP test in Calculus, I got a 3 in BC, and my AB subscore was a 3. So if you did bad on those tests, if Calculus is not your strong suit, don't worry, there is still a pretty good chance that you'll get in. I did it. So my senior year, I took AP Physics, AP Spanish, AP Lit and Comp, and AP Statistics. And so all of these classes, all my grades and stuff came out after I'd already submitted my application and gotten into the school, because I did get in early. And so no one ever saw my grades for these, and I didn't take any of the AP tests.
The first interesting question was, what field of study most appeals to you right now? And I submitted economics or mathematical economics, which is super interesting because going in, by the time my freshman year started, I thought I wanted to be a finance major. Now I'm a computer science and economics major, so clearly high school me knew myself better than freshman year at college me. Who would have thunk? For the question that asks you to tell more about your background and identity, if you're like me and born in the US, parents were born in the US, their parents were born in the US, and you literally don't really know where you're from, this question might have proved like a little hard for you, so I literally just wrote like, I'm white and I'm a 4th-gen American, like, cause that was all I could think of to write down. Okay, now, I'm not 100% sure if MIT had the same questions this year as they did the year I was applying, but they have a bunch of essay questions to answer, basically to get to know you. Now, one thing I'd emphasize for this part is don't try to say the right thing. Like, that's really genuinely, like, not gonna work. Because I know that people would write down, oh, all I do is community service, like, all I do is this, da-da-da. I love to help people and do math. And if that's really you, great. Like, that is what you want to put down, like, be yourself, be authentic, show your passion. But at the end of the day, if your passion is anything else, make sure they know that. Because MIT is looking for a diverse population. They are looking for people with varied interests. They don't want a bunch of math nerds who are going to sit there all day and do work. Obviously, they want some math nerds. It is MIT. But at the end of the day, they want other people too. So a lot of my essays focused very strongly on basketball, because I was being recruited for basketball to play there, and also, I frickin' love basketball. It was my whole life. So the first question was, we know you lead a busy life full of activities, many of which are required of you. Tell us something you do simply for the pleasure of it. my answer was basketball. I said it was a stress relief, biggest passion, leisure activity, all that combined, because all of that's true. Alright, second question. Although you may not know yet what you want to major in, which department or program at MIT appeals to you and why? So I wrote in this section that I was really glad that MIT had a lot of majors because I was super undecided. I said math was my favorite subject because I like patterns. But I was also interested in the business world, so I was looking into business analytics or finance. Why this wasn't in my initial question of which major do you want, I don't know. But anyways, by the time I got to question 2, or not even question 2, question 1B, I had changed majors, so. Alright, question 12. At MIT, we bring people together to better the lives of others. MIT students improve their communities by tackling the world's biggest problems or being a good friend. Describe one way you've contributed to your family, classroom, neighborhood, etc. And I was a little nervous to answer because although I feel like I do give back to my community, I was involved in some community service clubs, and I did do work, especially with young kids. Like, I didn't know if I had anything concrete enough to be like, oh, damn, I've changed the world. So if you're like most people, most high schoolers, and you haven't changed the world, that is okay. I ended up writing about how I tutored kids in my local community. I started with neighbors, and then I expanded out and started tutoring kids in my school. And so I did write about how passionate that made me with kids, how much I loved kind of just helping others, sharing my knowledge, and then that it did open my eyes to like seeing other people's strengths, other people's weaknesses, and helped me become a more well-rounded person. Okay, this next question also made me be like, what's going on? It was, how had the world shaped your dreams or aspirations? And now, like, I don't know, this is a really deep question, especially for a 16-year-old. I ended up writing about my mom, though, and how my family had influenced me really super positively and made my life really freaking good. So, I don't know. See, like I said earlier, it's always best to be honest, because that is true. I was able to write really passionately about how I feel, about how influential my mother had been in my life, and I think that showed through. Next question. Tell us about the most significant challenge you faced or something important that didn't go to plan. How did you manage the situation? For this question, I wrote about basketball yet again. Recurring theme for me, but it is the thing I'm most passionate about. And so I think like they do care about making sure that you do have something you're passionate about and that you're willing to talk about it, share it, and you're not trying to just like lie to look good. So I wrote about how my best friend was on varsity my freshman year and I was on JV. And that really hurt me, and because I thought I was just as good as her. Clearly I was not, since I was the JV player, she was the varsity player. And then I did end up overcoming that because I worked really, really hard every single day. And I ended up getting MVP of the JV team, and the following year I won Most Improved Player. And so that's like not me trying to brag at all, it's just me showing that like I did pick a topic that I felt strongly about and that I could show, this hurt me, I did this to overcome it, concretely. And so that was the last of the essay questions, and now we move on and we get to the activities. So for activities, the very first thing I put basketball. 10, 11, 12, and then I wrote about the awards that I got during all these years in the description of the activity role and how much work I put in. I basically said I played 12 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, which is the entire year, which is true. Sorry. Number 2, I put student council. I did that 10, 11, 12. For some reason, they didn't ask what you did freshman year. I guess they really just did not care at all. I don't know, maybe that's different now. But I put student council. I had a leadership position. I was treasurer my junior year, and then senior year I was secretary and treasurer, and I already knew this by the time I applied, so I was able to put that on my application. Then I have National Honor Society. I did that in 11, 12, because obviously you can only do it your last 2 years. And my senior year, I was president of National Honor Society. Then as my fourth and final activity, I put Special Olympics volunteer, which I only did literally 1 day of the year, but I still put that on there to show. Now, I do have to say that I think activities is the absolute most important part of your application. I think I was really passionate about basketball. I didn't mention, but I was captain my senior year also. And so then I just did a lot of things that were very leadership oriented. And I think that's super important because if you think about it, I was captain for basketball, I had 2 leadership positions in student council for 2 years each, I was president of National Honor Society, so everything that I was doing, I was not only just doing it, I was then taking a leadership position in that field. And so I think they'd rather have you be doing a few things and excelling in them, be getting those leadership positions, showing that you're passionate enough about them to put in that extra effort to be a leader in those fields. I think that was legitimately the reason that I got in. They asked us, question 15, summer activities. I was wildly confused when I read this because I don't know what summer activities meant. Like, were they just looking for things I did for fun? Like, I don't know. But I did decide, ended up going with things I did for fun. And I put reading, approximately 10 hours a week, basketball, 12 hours a week, and then camping, which I wrote August 2016, which is confusing because I promise you I've gone camping way more than August 2016, but that's all I put on the application. So they asked us for non-scholastic distinctions. I got a leadership award from the Chamber of Commerce, and then I put 4 basketball awards that I received. For scholastic distinctions, I had my high honors / with distinction on there, my AP test score distinction thing that you get if you get enough 5s, and then died. I need water. And then I was both a National Merit Scholarship semifinalist and a Wendy's High School Heisman finalist, which is an award for athletics in high school. And so those were what I put on there. Now for your SAT scores. So for my SAT scores, I ended up taking the SAT twice, once with the old version, once with the new version. EBWR, I guess, is your reading test score. I got 770. My math score was a 760. And then you're required to do 2 subject tests, one in math and one in science. I took my science one in Bio-M and chemistry, but I ended up doing better in Bio-M, so I just submitted that. I got a 730. Alright, for my math SAT, at the time I submitted my application, I hadn't taken the test yet. And so I wasn't able to actually put my score on the thing, but I did check the level 1 box because I'd already signed up to take math 1, because to be quite frank, I was not really prepared for that math test. I ended up having to study for the SAT 1, so there was no way I was taking level 2. So if you do think you're going to do better in level 1, I personally don't think it'll hurt you to do that. Let me look up what I actually got. I did end up submitting a 740 for that, so that is what I ended up getting overall for the math level 1 subject test. I did not take the ACT at all, so that section is completely blank. I felt like I did well enough on the SAT that it didn't matter. Okay, and now they asked you for additional information that they thought you should tell. 100% you have to fill this out. Even if you're not 100% sure what to write, find something, think about what makes you special, find it, throw it in that essay box. I think if you leave that blank, that shows that you were kind of rushing the application or there's nothing special about you. And neither is great. So for that, I wrote about the fact that I was a student athlete, I'd met the coach, I'd met a bunch of the players, and they completely changed my perspective on MIT, and they made it from a place that I super did not want to go to by the fact that I did. I didn't write that I didn't want to go there initially in my application, but I did write about what a positive impact they had on me and the fact that I did feel like I fit in on the team and, quite frankly, fit in at MIT as a whole. And so, yeah, that's what I did for that. And then that's the end of the actual application part. I guess if I were to sum up my MIT application experience and kind of give you the best possible suggestions, I did not have the most peak grades and test scores. Yes, I had very good grades, very good test scores, but I think thousands and thousands of kids who applied had the same grades and test scores that I did, right? That wasn't enough to set me over the edge. What I think really did that was that I took leadership positions in every single extracurricular that I did and committed to those extracurriculars for all 4 years of my college experience. It wasn't like I did them for 1 year, dropped out, or was a member at large who put in 1 hour a week for all the clubs. So leadership positions, and then I know for a fact that my letters of rec were really, really good. I didn't actually read either of them, but I have a really good feeling about both the people I chose. They really liked me a lot, and I know that they would give me really, really good letters of rec. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. If you have any additional questions, make sure you just ask them in the comments below, because I will be checking those, answering all your questions, because I do want to be helpful for you. I made a bunch of videos from MIT's campus, so if you're looking into what it's like to live there, go to back to some of my previous videos and you'll see how fun we are. And then make sure you hit subscribe to see all my future content, hit the like button, and thank you guys. Bye!